through which the firms can raise funds. So there were depository receipts, and if you are raising funds through depository receipts in America, that becomes your ADR, American Depository Receipts, and then non-American countries where you are raising funds, and that is basically the European countries where funds are being raised through depository receipts, then such DRs are known as global depository receipts. So we discussed the working of depository receipts, which has been summarized on the slide before you. We will now move to the difference between ADR and GDR. So the points are there. Where is the listing of these depository receipts taking place? Which markets are open for such depository receipts? All the points are there on your screens. So it is basically the territory which is defining the difference between ADRs and GDRs. Then comes the concept of IDRs. So if any foreign company wants to raise funds in the Indian market through the channel of depository receipts, it will be issuing IDRs in the Indian stock market. An IDR is an instrument dominated in the Indian currency. There will be a like the ADRs and GDRs, we'll have a domestic depository who has to be registered with SEBI. So the foreign multinational through its own bank will deposit the shares with the domestic depository, which will then, if required, bundle up the shares and form depository receipts and issue them in the Indian security markets. Now, when a depository receipt will be issued in India, the Indian investor who's purchasing these depository receipts will be receiving the dividend in the Indian currency. Such DRs won't be carrying any voting rights, and the Standard Chartered Bank was the first listed company to get its DR registered in India. Okay. Now the third route for a foreign euro issue is FCCB, foreign currency convertible bond. Now the term itself will explain the meaning. It is a bond which is denominated in a foreign currency. So if an Indian company wants to raise funds through the route of bonds in the US market, then that becomes a foreign currency bond there. Now there will be payment of interest for the duration of the bond, and at the time of repayment of principal, the bond holder is given the option according to the terms of issue to get this bond converted into equity share of the company. So convertible bonds, simple convertible bonds भी issue के time specify कर देते हैं कि after so many years an option will be given to the bond holder to get the bond converted to a specified number of equity shares. Similar option is given under FCCBs also. The bond at the time of say maturity or at the time some specified time at issue is the bond holder is given the option of getting it converted to equity share. Now we are dealing in a foreign currency bond, so the exchange rate at which this conversion of bond to equity will take place is already specified at the time of issue. Okay, and then again, this is totally optional for the bond holder. Okay, it is at the discretion of the bond holder. If interested, can get it converted, else can claim the principal payment and exit the contract. So it is a hybrid security because it has features of debt and equity. Okay, after that, we keep using the term depository. What is a depository? So earlier there were physical share certificates. Those were given to the equity shareholders, or say the debt holders were given the debt certificates, which were acknowledgement of the kind of security they are holding. Now, this involved a lot of paperwork, and there were a lot of risk, like the risk of spoilage, risk of losing the certificate, and because of this, we shifted to the online system, the DMAT system. Now, depository is the organization which is responsible for holding and handling these securities on behalf of the investors. Okay, and not only on the behalf of the investors but also on behalf of the issuer. It is the depository which is undertaking the A to Z of handling of securities in the electronic form. So, under this, we have two main depositories, one by the Bombay Stock Exchange, other by the National Stock Exchange. So, NSDL, which is a joint venture between IDBI, UTI, and NSC, and CDSL, which has been promoted by the Bombay Stock Exchange. So, the DPs, depository participants, have the right to, and only then can they buy or sell shares on behalf of their clients. Okay, so these are the terms. I think now they are more or less clear. What is depository? What is dematerialization? Who can be a depository participant? So, a bank, a financial institution, any company, a stockbroker can also be a depository participant. They have to get it themselves registered with the specific depository. Okay, then advantages of holding in DMAT form, as already discussed multiple times. It is more safe to handle the shares in electronic form, no risk of losing them, no forging risk, no spoilage risk, and no stamp duty to be paid on transfer of shares. Though obviously buying and selling of shares involves a brokerage cost. Okay, now we come to the next topic, which is stock market indices. Important from your theory point of view, but more important from the practical point of view, because generally we see practical questions on the construction of stock index in the paper. So let us first understand what a stock index is. Index is a measuring tool. Okay, so what does a stock index specify? What is it measuring? It is measuring the performance of a group of stocks. So just yesterday, milestone has been achieved. Sensex has crossed 50,000. So Sensex is a stock index which is representing, which is measuring the performance of the underlying 30 shares. Okay, and it is on the price movements of these shares that the movement of the stock index depends. Now, a good index has to be diversified enough to cover the main sectors of the economy. Okay, so it shouldn't be limited to a few sectors, it should be as diverse as possible, and it should try and capture the behavior of large variety of different portfolios in the market. So the more diverse it is, it will lead to a better representation of the economy, and obviously the shares which are highly liquid in that specific sector, in that specific industry, should be given weightage in the stock index, because only the shares that are being traded on frequent basis carry high liquidity, can actually represent the specific industry. Okay, now obviously apart from your Sensex and Nifty, you have specific industry indices also, say index for the banking sector or for the automobile sector. Apart from that, you also have green indices now. You have indices which are measuring the CSR performance of the firm. So there has been diversification in the indices also with respect to the areas which they are covering. So the types of indices. Now there are two types of indices broadly speaking. One is market capitalization based index and the second is price weighted index. Now, what is the difference between the two? Literal meaning. Price weighted index is index value which is calculated on the basis of the price of the share of a company which is part of that index. So here we are considering only the security price and not the quantity of the security. It is only the movement in prices of the underlying securities that will cause a change in the index. And when we talk about the most popular price weighted index, then there are two price weighted index which are most popular. One is DJIA and the second is Nikkei 225. Can anyone tell me what does DJIA stands for? Yes.
Dow Jones Industrial Average.
Yes, very good. Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is the most popular price weighted index, again covering industries in the major industries in the US market, and the price movements in those shares representing specific industries is moving the DJIA. Second is Nikkei 225. Nikkei is the index for which country, which stock exchange?
Can I take a guess?
Yeah,
Hong Kong.
नहीं हांगकांग नहीं है. Close, move closer. Again, one of the largest top 5, top 3 stock exchanges की बात करें तो after the US based stock exchanges. Anyone else? Yes, very good. It is index on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, which is covering the 225 largest companies of Japan. Okay, so these are the two major, most famous price weighted index. Now, have a look at the example given on the slide. Say there are five. Hypothetically, we are assuming that these five shares are forming a price weighted index. Though, if I talk about the Indian security market, Indian stock market, all the indices are market capitalization based. Okay, but say hypothetically, you are given five shares and price at time 0 and price at time 1. How will you calculate the index value? So index value will be the number of shares which are part of the index and say new valuation upon old valuation. So your new valuation here is the sum total of the prices at time 0, sorry, time 1, and old valuation is the sum total of the prices at point 0. Okay, so the summation sign should actually be for both the terms. I am writing it as a common thing. Okay, and if there is any base value for the index, then that is multiplied. Okay, so I'm writing it here. If there's any base value given, then that is multiplied to this formula. So you simply divide these values and you will get the value of the index at time 1. Okay, so in this example the base value was taken as 1000. So now the index has a value of 1049.56. So this is how the price weighted index is calculated. On the other hand, when we move to a market capitalization based index, it is also known as market value weighted index. We calculate the market cap of that particular company by multiplying the price per share into the number of shares issued in the market. This will give the market capitalization of each company, and this will decide what is the proportional value of that company in the overall index value. So say there's a simple example given, then we'll move to a better example. Say an index has only two shares, A and B. For A, the market cap is 1000 while B has 3000 as market cap. तो अब A की weightage हो जाएगी 1/4 in the index while B will have a weightage of 3/4 in the index. Now, when we consider the market capitalization index, it actually covers only the free floating shares in the market. What is free float or what is full float? There are two terms used with respect to market capitalization: free float market cap and full float market cap. Anyone has any idea? What does this mean? So when the share capital of a company is when shares of a company are issued, then some portion of those shares are retained by the promoters, while others, when issued to the general public, are available for trading in the market. Now, when we calculate the market capitalization, the share percentage or shareholding of the promoter is not considered. It is only those shares which are freely available for trading in the market are given weightage in market capitalization. This is known as free float market cap. When we include promoters as in those who have promoted the company, तो अगर हम रिलायंस पेट्रोलियम की बात करें तो मुकेश अंबानी और जो फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, जो उनकी शेयर होल्डिंग है वो मार्केट कैप में कंसिडर नहीं होगी. ओके, दैट those shares are not available for trading in the market. ओके, फुल फ्लोट होता है जब हम दोनों शेयर्स को कंसिडर करें, प्रमोटर के भी और जो मार्केट में अवेलेबल हैं. बट practically it is only the free float market capitalization which is considered. तो जो आप जो भी market cap read करते हो कि इस company की इतनी हो गई और this is so much for a particular company, that is based on free float. Okay, so one example of market index on the basis of capitalization is again given to you. So time one पे इन्हीं 5 इंडस्ट्रीज की 5 कंपनीज की मार्केट कैप दी हुई है, टाइम 0 पे दी हुई है. योर इंडेक्स विल बी current market capitalization upon a base market capitalization into the base value. So here is the meaning of free float market capitalization. As I've explained, they do not include shares by the founders, directors of the company. If some shares are held by through FDI, okay, कोई आपका फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर होल्ड कर रहा है, वो भी शेयर्स ट्रेडिंग के लिए अवेलेबल नहीं होंगे. Okay, so advantages of free float, obviously it is giving a better representation of the price movements of the company, valuation movements of the company, because you're not holding or you're not stuck with the shares which are belonging to the top management. Okay, so there is one example of full float market capitalization here, but we will be focusing on the free float market capitalization for calculating the market index. Okay, so let's take up one simple example first of calculating the market capitalization based index. So you are given a question. Assume only 3 shares A, B, and C constitute an index. You are given the original valuation and you are given the number of outstanding shares. You have to calculate the market capitalization of the 3 companies and their index using the S&P formula. Now S&P जो indices होते हैं, they are based on market cap. Take the base value as 100. Okay, start solving the question, class. Take 2 minutes, solve the question. Okay, so it's better to take the base value as the prices are. There's a moment. Take the base value as 1000. Yes, what is the answer coming to? Okay, so we are getting the value. Yes, Parth, you have given the final answer. It's coming to 9500. 6 and have I written the shares? Yes. मानवी ए की वैल्यू 2500 कैसे आ रही है आपकी?
मैम 5000 होगा ना बाय बिकॉज ए का शेयर लाइक नंबर ऑफ आउटस्टैंडिंग शेयर इज 100 और करंट शेयर प्राइस इज 50.
So you are doing this on the basis of summation of the values, not individually.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I individually took them out.
No, no, not individually. Summation का साइन तभी तो था फॉर्मूला में.
Oh,
So
then
this is how you're taking the value, and your final value for this index is coming to, yes, 9500.
ma'am, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
answer ultimately 9500 only, even if we did it like separately. So,
Don't increase the number of steps.
okay, ma'am.
Move like this only. Don't increase the number of steps unnecessarily.
Okay.
Okay, what about others? I hope this is simple and clear to everyone. How do we calculate the market index, stock index on the basis of market capitalization? Now, subsequently, we will be covering the calculation of price weighted index with the impact, basically stock index, with the impact of corporate actions also. So if there is a bonus issue or split of shares or some rights issue, what does it mean for the market index, or how much is the impact on the price weighted index and market value based index.